Test, test. If everyone can kind of start finding their seats, we'll get started here in about 5 minutes, okay? We'll get started in about 5 minutes if everybody can start finding their seats. Thank you. Well, good evening, everyone. We'll go ahead and get started, okay? Well, on behalf of our entire athletic department and DWU as a whole, we would like to welcome you to the 2021 Athletic Hall of Fame Banquet. This event is always the highlight of each year, where we get to honor some of the most accomplished and influential athletes, contributors, and coaches. And before we really get into things, I would like to give a special thanks to everyone who made this event possible. Our staff and Marlene Warnke, Brant McCall, Mike Eisenbarth, Randy Christensen, and many other members of our athletic staff, our coaches that are helping escort folks tonight, our administrative and advancement team, and Teresa Creasy, Kitty Allen, Jory Hansen, our IT folks up there running the show, Travis, Eric, and Wim and their staff, the physical plant. It's been a busy week for these guys, flipping rooms left and right. Sandy's been a huge help. And our Hall of Fame committee, who's listed on the back of our program. And then obviously the Fresh Ideas crew and Nathan and Mitch and our softball girls that have helped serve the last few days. It's been a busy week here on campus, Hall of Fame week and homecoming week. It's been great. So please join me in thanking all these individuals for making this event possible. At this time, I would also like to take this opportunity to ask that all of our past DWU Athletic Hall of Fame inductees please stand if you're in attendance. And don't be shy, I know there's some in here. These individuals and many more are listed in your programs, and we're so grateful to have you with us tonight. And now at this time, I would invite our interim president, Teresa Creasy, to come up and give the presidential greeting and invocation, and then you'll be dismissed to eat.
Thank you, John. I always love to be between people and their food, so sorry about that. Good evening and welcome all of you. It's very exciting to see you this evening. We've had a great homecoming, including the win today. Thank you, Coach. Tonight we have the pleasure and privilege of inducting 7 worthy individuals into the Dakota Wesleyan University Athletic Hall of Fame. This is a night to share stories, memories, and great friendships developed through Tiger Athletics. We welcome alumni and friends to celebrate this momentous occasion and share in the excitement of the evening. Before we begin tonight, however, let's take a moment in prayer. Please join me. Heavenly Father, we come before you filled with gratitude. Please pour your protective grace down on our athletes during their competitions. Guide them to safe performance. Bless those in attendance tonight. May you fill us with peace, hope, courage, and wisdom to do your will. Bless the food we are about to partake and the hands of those who prepared it for our nourishment. It is in your name we pray. Amen. Enjoy the evening.
Check, check. All right. Okay, I think we're going to go ahead and get started with our program. And I know that some of you are still eating, so please continue to enjoy your dinner while we get things kicked off. So our first inductee is Matt Hine. Matt Hine, a 2004 graduate, finished his time at DWU as a two-time All-American. In 2004, he placed third at the NAI Indoor Track and Field Championships in the 3,000-meter race walk. Good for an All-American nod. In that same year, Hine took second at the NAI Outdoor Track and Field Championships in the 3,000-meter race walk. Again, good enough for an All-American selection. He currently holds the third best time in school history with a 3,000-meter race walk with a time of 15 minutes and 33 seconds. And he also holds the record for the fastest 5,000-meter race walk with a time of 24 minutes, 27 seconds. And he was an NAI All-American Scholar Athlete recipient in 2004 for his efforts in the classroom. Hein resides in Buffalo, Wyoming with his wife, Kristen, and they have 3 daughters. Please direct your attention to the screens for a short video highlighting Matt. Please help me welcome to the stage our first Hall of Fame inductee, Mr. Matt Hein. Well, Matt has tasked me with the honor of being his presenter this evening, and I graciously accepted. Matt thought that if he asked any of his family members to do this for him, that they wouldn't come tonight, so I'll kind of carry the load here, you guys, a little bit. Now, as a person who didn't get to see Matt compete for DWU, I had the pleasure of hearing stories of his performances, competitive nature, and his character from former coaches, alumni, supporters of DWU track and field, and select Hall of Fame committee members. For those of you who aren't familiar with race walking, it's a long-distance race in which one foot must be in contact with the ground at all times. And as an onlooker, I must admit, watching race walkers in action can be one of the most awkwardly entertaining events in all sports. And I was always amazed with how these athletes trained. Now for Matt, the introduction and the start of race walking was a little bit unorthodox, and he'll maybe talk about that a little bit, but he started at DWU as a basketball player and just a track and field and cross-country traditional athlete, but obviously things changed and he found his calling as he quickly excelled in race walking. During Matt's time at DWU, he was known as a great teammate, friend, and student with a dedicated work ethic and a kind personality. I think it's safe to say that those characteristics have stuck with him upon graduation. Matt and his wife Kristen now own a dental practice in Buffalo, Wyoming, and have 3 amazing children in Addison, Aubrey, and Emery. Matt has resembled the model of everything we want to see as a student athlete, both during their collegiate career and in life. Matt, I'm proud to present you with the highest individual honor and accomplishment for DWU athletics. Welcome to the DWU Athletic Hall of Fame.
Thank you all so much. Thank you for being here tonight. So, well, if you would have told me that I'd be getting inducted into the Hall of Fame for my race walking career when I was this big, I would have thought you were all crazy. If anything, I was certain I was going to be the next Michael Jordan when I was a kid. And as some of you know from my time here trying to play at Dakota Wesleyan, you know I'm not Michael Jordan. But nonetheless, here I am and here all you are, so let's get into how all this happened. I'm going to give you a snapshot of my life and those that have been around me, surrounding me since the beginning, and hopefully in the end you'll see how I became a race walker, leading me to be here tonight. I'm going to start with the end on how and why I started to race walk, and when I come back to the beginning so that you can see why it makes sense that I would try such a crazy event. I definitely acknowledge that race walking is an abnormal sport, but I'm okay with that. So again, the end of the story that starts with me race walking. I originally came to DWU on academic and athletic scholarships in cross country, basketball, and track. And to help keep this short, we'll just focus on my senior year at Dakota Wesleyan. I was very active all 4 years of college. I participated in 3 different sports every year and carried a full load of academic classes. I majored in biology and I had a minor in chemistry. I also worked part-time in various jobs throughout town, Domino's to be one of them. It was great. I didn't have a lot of spare time, so, well, at the end I ended up overdoing it with my running, primarily at the end. So throughout college, I continually fought shin splints and then ended up with stress fractures in my legs. I had multiple stress fractures in both legs going into cross country my senior year. So I knew I couldn't run, and luckily this wasn't a big loss for the team because I wasn't that great at that either. Randomly, I'd read an article about race walkers having very few injuries because they always have a foot on the ground, so there is no impact. So I mean, really, who reads an article about race walking? So Coach Eckern, who I'm so happy was here tonight, I love and respect him a lot, and myself visited about the possibility of race walking. I'd never done it before, and he'd never coached it before. So we decided to give it a try. And as a reminder, this is way before YouTube. You could not just go and look up how to race walk. But you all should do that later. It's pretty awesome. I had to find some videos from who knows where and started to study it. And really, the really quick rules for race walking are you have to have one foot on the ground at all times, and your knee has to be straight as you go across it. There are judges on the track that watch and see if you're doing all this correctly. At nationals, you get 3 tries before you're disqualified. And for some really weird reason, this just all clicked with me. So I learned how to race walk in approximately October of my senior year. I qualified for indoor nationals sometime in the winter and placed 3rd, and then again for outdoor nationals in the spring and placed 2nd. At the end of that, I had someone approach me at outdoors to see if I'd be interested in going to the Olympic training facility to do some more training. And if you're keeping track, this is only 8 months from the start of my race walking to the end, and I did not elect to pursue the sport any further after outdoor nationals. I was studying to get into dental school and had a full-time job back home fighting wildfires. So don't get me wrong, the story isn't all about me. It's about the people who put me in position to be able to do something like that in such a short amount of time, and even more importantly, to be a person that loves God, my family, and is not afraid to work hard every day. So now I'm going to talk about how I came to be the person that was willing to do something different in order to continue competing and pushing myself when I no longer could do my traditional sports. And this is the better story, the story about the people that helped me be here tonight. I was born into a great family. My parents are Ronnie and Deb, and my sister Tammy. They all taught me from a young age that hard work is one of the most important qualities a person can have. I remember waking up early in the morning on Saturdays, and I would sneak into the kitchen, get a box of cereal, sneak into the living room and sit like 2 inches from the screen and have the volume on 0 basically, so that I could watch cartoons for a minute before we had to go outside and go to work. And I'm not even really sure what we did out there. I just know that it was really important and it couldn't wait. So I was pushed to work hard and study hard. Getting a B was not an option in my house. And this wasn't always a perfect arrangement with these expectations, but looking back now, I'm so thankful for these expectations because in the end, it turned me into someone who desired to always be better no matter the circumstances. I found the love of my life in 7th grade, and we didn't know it at the time, but it ended up being true. My wife, Kristen, and I are high school sweethearts and then also college sweethearts. Kristen gave up a basketball scholarship to stay close to me and then eventually joined me at Dakota Wesleyan. Kristen's influence on me is not measurable. We have 3 beautiful girls, Addison, Avery, and Emmy. Kristen has always supported me, and she's always okay with all the crazy ideas I have. I don't have to convince her, she just believes in me. It's awesome. We have done and accomplished some really crazy things in our short life. We've made it through undergrad, dental school, building our business, and raising a family. She is amazing. I got the drive to work and to try and improve myself from my immediate family, but I get the support from Kristen. And not only that, but Kristen is who furthered my Christian walk. She took me to church at Dakota Wesleyan and helped me to find my true purpose in life, and I'm forever grateful. My coaches and teammates, I was fortunate enough to have Coach Eckern for cross country and track. He genuinely cared about his athletes. He pushed us and was there for us when we needed him. I have so many good memories about him. My teammates and friends, and a couple of them are here tonight, is awesome. Again, just thanks for being there for me. We had so many fun times, so many good runs. We did not have a fancy track. We had to run outside when it was so cold. Dakota Wesleyan University itself, the first time I toured the campus, I knew I was at home. It felt so comfortable to me. I just knew it was the right fit. And boy, was I right. I was challenged academically, athletically, and spiritually at this place. I was able to do things at this campus that I've never been able to do in a million years at a larger university. This is the place that allowed me to become prepared to be a productive adult. So I do feel like I'm rambling a bit with my story, and I'll get back to the race walking and try to tie these people in. I believe that to be a race walker, you have to be a person that is not afraid to work hard and push their limits. That was taught by my parents. You have to be a person that's supported unconditionally by someone else. That's Kristen. You have to be a person that has the right coach and teammates at the right time, Coach Eckern. And you have to be at the right place at the right time to be able to blossom, and that's Dakota Wesleyan. Because without all of these things, you'd feel awfully foolish walking around swinging your hips in short shorts while people judge you. Thank you so much.
Our next inductee is Chad Johnson, a 2003 graduate. Chad completed his career with the DWU wrestling program as a three-time NAI national qualifier from 2000 to 2002. He was also a GPAC runner-up in 2002 and finished fourth in 2001. Johnson currently holds the school record for the fastest pin with a 9-second pin set in 2001. He also set his own record at the NAI Wrestling Championship with another 9-second pin in 2002. The 9-second pin is still among the fastest pins in NAI history. He was an NAI All-American in 2001 and placed fourth at regionals in 2001, while taking second at regionals in 2002. Johnson currently resides in Kennebec as a teacher and a head wrestling coach for Lyman High School. Him and his wife Darcy have two sons in Gunner and Maverick. Here is a short video highlighting Chad. Please help me welcome to the stage Chad Johnson and his presenter, Mike Shadwinkle.
Wow, that video brought a lot of memories back for me too. All the guys over there that were wrestling at the same time were that was great. Seeing a lot of those great memories. One of them was a funny one from St. Louis. We were in the national tournament, I think. Was that the first one? It might have been the second one, but we were all up in the top of the arch in St. Louis, so that was pretty cool. I came to Dakota Wesleyan in 1999 as the head coach. And at that time, I was, I think, 24 years old and wasn't much older than a lot of these guys. So our relationship has been kind of unique, being so close in age. I was fresh out of grad school and 1 year of grad assistant coaching. And so I inherited Chad. He wasn't somebody that I recruited. He actually, he had come to Dakota Wesleyan but took a year off between high school. And so when I got here, Chad was here, and what a blessing to have him be a part of the program and become one of the pillars of what we were doing at that time. One of the things that I'm most proud of from my perspective as a coach of being here during that time was the group of young men, grown old guys with me now, that at the relationships that they had and the friendships that they've had, and to have one of their teammates go into the Hall of Fame and they're running from all corners of the country to come back to be a part of it, and even across the world. Justin Portner's on the phone right now, who's actually serving in the U.S. Army, and he's deployed right now overseas. So definitely want to give a shout out to Justin for being here via the phone too. And Justin's also a member of the Dakota Wesleyan Hall of Fame as well. One thing that I want to mention is that these are very special occasions, and all of the inductees are obviously very special people that come with a certain DNA that's allowed them to be successful, not only in their time in collegiate athletics, but every one of them going beyond. And I wanted to mention a little bit the thought of what it means to be Hall of Fame. And 3 words kept coming to mind for me was excellence, achievements, and honor. And I thought, obviously excellence is simple. The people that are going into the Hall of Fame or in the Hall of Fame exhibited some sort of excellence. They were able to accomplish something that very few or, a very small select group get to accomplish these feats. Second is the achievement is obviously they're achieving. They did something great, and then, honor is they're honoring their programs, their families, their coaches by going on and doing great things well above and beyond. To speak directly on Chad's behalf is a great honor for me. Me being a young guy when he was here as an athlete, fortunately or unfortunately threw me on the mat with him a lot and had to wrestle with him. And Chad is kind of notorious for locking people up and big throws. And with 9-second pins on his resume, especially at the national tournament, and I believe, if I'm correct, I'm not sure if it still stands, but at the time, that 9-second fall at the NAI National Tournament was the fastest fall recorded at any collegiate national wrestling tournament in history. So that's a pretty amazing feat in itself. Chad was notorious for locking up and getting what we would call a double overhook on a wrestler and then picking him up and launching him halfway across the mat. And there's a long litany of accomplished wrestlers that Chad threw and pinned. I won't bore you with all of those details, but one particular memory I had was that match right there was his 7th and 8th place match at the national tournament. And he was wrestling a kid from Montana State Northern, and he went to throw, and he kind of landed flat on his back. And I was just like, ugh, dang it. And then all of a sudden, he just lets out this big grunt and arches through and puts the kid on his back and pins him. And I was like, oh, yeah, okay, I knew he was going to do that. But Chad was notorious for creating some exciting moments with big throws and scoring big points by pinning people. Above and beyond his great wrestling achievements, probably the greatest honor for me is just the friendship we've had over the 20 years or so since we first met. We've stayed in contact. Every once in a while we'll run into each other at wrestling meets here or there. I'm no longer a professional coach, but I still, as recently as probably, 4 or 5 years ago, was up doing a camp for him and working with his kids out in Lyman County, which is always a great honor for me to come get to be around my past wrestlers who are now coaching. Which is another thing that I did want to mention is a lot of these guys are still coaching and giving back. And I've always thought that that's a really amazing thing about the sport of wrestling is it kind of just grabs you in and pulls you in and you're kind of stuck with it for life. And, many of these guys are still giving back to their clubs and to their high school programs. And now I'm starting to get into their 40s and I'm still doing it too. So we're all kind of suckers giving back to wrestling. So along with our relationship, I think some of the things that stand out with Chad is just his integrity, his honesty and loyalty, and I think all of his teammates would echo that over and over again. His wonderful friends and family have occupied a huge chunk of this, which is a tribute to his great personality and loyalty and friendship and what he gives to other people. He's one of those guys that you get to know him, you spend time with him, and every interaction you walk away feeling pretty good about yourself because he lifts you up. He makes you feel good and makes you feel like you're doing something great. And that's a very noble and wonderful trait that Chad has that helps him be a great coach, teacher, father, husband, and person here on our planet. I'll leave this with this, that it's an honor to be here. I didn't want to take up too much time because there's a lot of great inductees that deserve to have the stage, but I'm very excited for Chad. He's deserved this honor, and it's wonderful that this is happening and that he gets to be here in front of all his friends and family, and I'm especially honored to be here with his teammates and everyone here and sharing this moment. So with that, I'll turn it over to Chad. Thank you.
Wow, that was awesome. First off, just congrats to the 2021 Hall of Fame class. I'm honored to be recognized with such a distinguished group of student athletes. Today is a great day to be a Tiger. I want to apologize up front for my lack of speech writing etiquette. I feel like this is kind of going to be a congealed mess of part coach pep talk, part Hallmark thank you card, and part eulogy all wrapped into one. So just bear with me, please. I chose DWU because of the small town atmosphere. The faculty and staff were welcoming. It made me feel like family. I didn't get that feeling from other campuses that I visited. I was a person, not a number on an ID badge. I had signed in the spring of '98, but in July of '98, God changed my plan. My grandpa, who operated a farm and cattle ranch, was diagnosed with esophageal cancer. I made a decision that I would stay back in August while he started treatment and help with duties on the farm to fill his void. During my year off, DWU went through some coaching changes. Both of the coaches that had recruited me, Kramer and Butke, and sold me on the place had moved on. So with those coaches gone in the fall of '99, I had a decision to make. Do I stay home on the farm, the comfortable, the easy route, or do I report to football camp in the fall and get my head wrapped around being a student athlete again? Overweight and out of shape, I reported to football camp. And during the fifth 50-yard wind sprint, I had some soul searching to do. I was questioning my decision. After letting loose of the cafeteria scrambled eggs and sausage, my head and stomach were clear. I needed to stay. I needed to get back on the horse. Some of my best memories came from the 2 years of football camp. Nothing better than having 2-a-days, 3-a-days, then going back to a nice air-conditioned Allen Hall between practice to rest and cool off. except for Allen Hall wasn't air conditioned, and it was hot. But we survived it and made us tougher. I fondly remember the teamwork, EMAT, every man a tiger, the unity of our offensive line, Hostert, Gear, Suley, Hedrick, Woolbrink, Q-Ball, Brad Olson, and the late great Osaro Kyles. We weren't the biggest and fastest or the best, just gritty, and I was honored to play alongside them. After 2 seasons on the football team, I made the difficult decision to focus my efforts solely on wrestling. It was during football camp, in the meal line, if you can believe that. Seems to be where I spent most of my time. I met the guy who would come to be my biggest influence as an athlete and a coach, Coach Shadwinkle, who at first I thought was a member of the team due to his youthful look and physical condition. But he was actually one of the defensive line coaches. And I was a little taken back when we were formally introduced. I couldn't believe a college wrestling coach could be so young. I remember being introduced and telling him that I'd be wrestling for him that winter and making some awkward small talk. And I can still remember him looking at me, up and down, then up. And then he gave me some of the most inspirational words I think I've ever heard spoken. Yeah, you'll probably work. When wrestling season rolled around, the business side took over. Coach Shad was demanding he strive for excellence in the program. If you weren't willing to put the time in, this wasn't for you. Qualifying for nationals had been a measuring stick at DWU. Placing at nationals had become the new mindset. In our first season, we had a small recruiting class because he came in so late, and a small handful of returning wrestlers. By year two, he had 3 sophomore NAIA All-Americans. Then, first one since the reinstatement of the program in '95, and ended up 12th as a team in the national tournament. By year 3, he had DW's first national champion. He changed the mindset of the culture of DW wrestling. And at his time at Dakota Wesleyan, he not only brought back All-Americans, he was responsible for DW's first ever national champion, Justin Portnier, who just like last week was called back into service for another tour. So I am so thankful I have the opportunity to wrestle for Coach Shadwinkle. You're one that should be up here tonight. While at DWU, my biggest inspiration was my teammates, this table over here. We had been through so much adversity and overcame so many obstacles. The season was easier when you knew you had each other's back. We celebrated the success at tournaments and duels, and we were there for each other when we were 0-2 street shoes. I fondly remember the road trips every weekend, always late nights, always icy roads, and every nice place along the way we got to stop and eat, we always told the waitress it was Coach's birthday, just to get him the special treatment that he deserved. I'm honored to have you as teammates and practice partners. The DW Mat Man, I'd be here all night if I listed all of them, but I would like to recognize some of them: Mario, Jay, Digman, Loveless, Dave Cole. I'm thankful that you came here tonight and were able to make the trip. I thank you for those who made it tonight. I'm also equally enthused that they never killed me for my diverse music playlist in the practice room. I never understood how you couldn't get pumped up to Hank Jr., Merle Haggard, or Johnny Cash. It wasn't always business, though. Another great memory was during our preseason West River pheasant hunt. We'd head 100 miles west to Lyman County, where there were 2 simple documented rules, and I quote, "What happens in Presho stays in Presho, and if it flies, it dies." This trip worked as a creative team-building opportunity to bring the guys together for a little relaxation and recreation. And it's always a great idea to turn a bunch of college kids loose with guns and live ammunition. But on that note, no one got shot, so it was a huge bonus. And if they would have, we had our trusted athletic trainer, Dr. Dan, with us most of the time, so he would have passed us up. But in seriousness, we really did make this safety a top priority, teaching gun safety to kids that otherwise may not have been exposed to it. To this day, I know we instilled a passion for hunting in many that otherwise never have gotten it. And we learned Coach Swatek could kill more birds with a single shot .410 than the whole team could with automatic 12 gauges. Now, when I received the call from Coach Hart that I was going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, I was very surprised. In the weeks, months, and thanks to COVID, years it felt like leading up to this night, the reflection has been perpetual and humbling. How did I get here? I was just a chubby kid from Lyman County having fun. In a sport that it was okay to be angry, it was okay to be aggressive. It was okay to knock the tar out of someone for an hour and a half of practice and still be best friends afterwards. It was okay to step on the mat and hit the pause button of life. But the thing about that chubby kid from Lyman County, he had a damn nasty headlock. I'd be a millionaire if I had $1 for every time I was told that move will never work in a big match, or you won't hit that on a good kid. I digress, it wasn't good enough for me to win a state or national title, but I did hit it in a few big matches, and I did pin some pretty good kids in it. But it takes more than a headlock and supermodel looks to have success in the sport. What that chubby kid from Lyman County had is a great support system. I'm truly blessed by the amount of my people, my friends, that came here to share this special day. They are people that believed in me and still believe in me. People that made sacrifices for me along the way. We're at our strongest and at our best when we have great people to lean on. The past few years have brought some personal challenges to my family. But by leaning on our people, we've been able to keep moving forward and stay positive. I want to throw some thank yous out. My high school coach is Cordy Schlomer, the eternal optimist. He picked up a dying program on the brink of failure and brought it back to life. Coach Morehart taught me the mind is one of your best friends or your worst enemies. His philosophy of they may be able to beat us on technique, but they'll never beat us in heart or conditioning still echoes in my ears. I'd like to recognize my family at the Lyman School District. Mr. Carrier, for trusting me and encouraging me to take the head wrestling position right out of college and being such a great mentor. So glad that you could join us tonight. We all know that it's not the building, but the people in it that make it amazing. And I'm honored to have several of my past and present coworkers, current and former coaching staff here tonight to share this moment with me. Thank you all for coming in what you do with our students. God has also blessed me with some fiercely loyal friends. One quote that reminds me of my friends comes from Clarence Oddbody. Don't know if anyone knows who that is, but he's the guardian angel from the movie It's a Wonderful Life. No man is a failure who has friends. There are those days when we feel like a failure. Some days I feel as I've failed as a husband, as a father, as a teacher, as a coach, as a farmer. But one call can remind me how strong friendships can be. Real friends aren't the ones that are with you to celebrate. Real friends are the ones standing beside you when you hit rock bottom. Don't be afraid to lean on your people. Lean on your friends. A huge shout out to my family that's in the house tonight. Johnsons, Heisingers, Fossnesses. God bless Gordy Fossness. Any Gordy Fossness fans here tonight? The legacy he left at this place, foundation for so many men to build their life upon. He was so excited for me. When he found out I was being inducted, I bet I had a desk drawer full of handwritten notes of encouragement and congratulations from Gordy. As every wrestler knows, you're only as good as your practice partner. Last year, I lost my first and best practice partner. My older brother Ross passed away last spring. We wore out more carpet in our living room and broke more furniture than our family could afford. He was the partner that took me out of my comfort zone. He exposed my weaknesses and had forced me to acknowledge them. I miss him every day, but I know he's here tonight in spirit. I was also fortunate enough to have the opportunity to coach my younger brother, Bo, in his senior season and watched him get on the podium of the state tournament after a devastating injury the previous season. Watching him grow up to be a husband, a father, and a successful cattle rancher and beef promoter gives me great pride. I want to thank my parents, Doug and Gloria. They gave me the greatest gift that anyone could ask. They believed in me and provided opportunities to not only be successful, but to fail. They taught me that life can be full of fruit, but sometimes you have to risk falling off the ladder to pick it. My mom, Gloria, all the forces in the galaxy could never be stronger than a mother's love. You have taught me so many things, but most importantly, patience and forgiveness. Thank you for always being there. My dad, Doug, instilled in me a bitter disgust for not doing my best. He reminded me to never lower my expectations to get better results. He encouraged me to keep in the weight room and that I'd never have to apologize for being stronger than my opponent. And keep fighting your battle. We're proud of you this far. No matter what the statistics say, there's always a way. To my boys, Gunnar and Maverick, please know that you're my everything. My world revolves around you. The most important title for me is father. Watching you grow up to be young men is what gives me the greatest satisfaction possible. You're cut from the same cloth, and as years go by, it's starting to show. Continue to be passionate about what you do. And if the plan doesn't work, change the plan, but never, ever the goal. I'm so proud of what you have become, and even more excited about the men you'll be. Take time to know what matters. Slow down, live life. Be kids while you can. Time is something you can't ever get back. Spend time with your people. Don't sweat the small stuff. And if it can be fixed with money, it's all small stuff. Lastly, my wife of 18 years, Darcy. She's my ride or die. She's a badass. With a huge heart, she has an amazing inner strength. She's honest and forever a servant of trying to inspire other people to make the world a better place. She's the type of person that you'd go to war with. She's the type of woman that you marry. Every day she makes me want to be a better person. She is the most inspirational person I know. What you're going through right now is by far harder than anything I've ever done. Since your diagnosis, your inspiration has inspired me and made me realize and understand that nothing is more important than times with the ones you love. There's no game plan for living with stage 4 cancer, but you absolutely are rocking it. We seem to live our lives 3 months at a time. Thank you for loving me enough to let me follow my dreams of coaching, farming, and everything in between. Even at times I know it makes it harder on you. I'm so proud of you and thankful of you for being such a wonderful wife and mother. In closing, I want to thank Dakota Wesleyan University for some of the best years of my life, and I look forward to the growth and development that you're providing our students. Thank you.
Congratulations, Chad. Our next inductee is Raven Morgan Elwine. A graduate of 2000, Raven Morgan was a 4-year starter and completed her career with 1,302 points, good for 6th all-time in women's history upon her graduation. She currently sits in 8th place in program history, averaging 12.5 points per game throughout her career. In 1998, she received SDIC Player of the Week honors and was an SDIC All-Conference team member. During that same year, she was nationally ranked in free throw percentage and was tabbed as an NAI Academic All-American. A great leader and a team captain for the Tigers, Raven was a 3-time DWU Scholar Athlete for her efforts off the court. Raven resides in Huron with her husband Jay and her 5 children, Isabel, Blake, Miles, Berkeley, and Scarlett. Please direct your attention to the screens. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome to the stage Raven Morgan Elwine and her presenter, Kevin Lean.
Well, it's wonderful to be back to Dakota Wesleyan. So many friends and colleagues here in the audience tonight. Thank you for having me, Raven. Really appreciate that. I do have to say a couple things about these two wrestlers here prior. First of all, Coach Shadwinkle, matches are only 6 minutes long, for God's sakes. I'll be way briefer than that, I can tell you. And you saw Raven mentioned Foundations of Education. I know Chad, the teacher. I don't remember him ever being in class in Foundations at 8 a.m. Plus, I am certain I had him for 3 classes. He never said more than one word. Oh my God, how'd you come up with that whole speech? That was fabulous, fabulous. Sure didn't come from my instruction, that's for sure. This is, I want to congratulate all of the inductees tonight. My good fortune was seeing 5 or 6 of them here during my time, and they made this place what it is and what it can be. And I'm just completely honored to be here tonight in this presence of so many great Tiger athletes. This is my 7th time giving away somebody at the Hall of Fame. You can tell how crappy a coach I was. I had all those Tiger greats and I still couldn't win. So, I'm really honored to be here to finally complete the Morgan wing of the Dakota Wesleyan University Hall of Fame. And Raven is absolutely deserving of this, certainly. Raven was family, and Raven is work ethic. We had a credo on our team always that hard work was its own reward. She's the poster child, absolutely. She's the one who would do extra no matter what. If I said take 10 shots, she'd take 100. If I said do 10 defensive slides, she'd do 1,000. No, that's not true because she couldn't play D, but she did. She did actually try to play D. I have a symbol of that. We were at the Palace in a pregame. I don't think it was Tech, but it was somebody that was pretty good. And I had given Raven the assignment of guarding a pretty good player on the other team. And so we were getting ready for the game, and I'm giving out the assignments, and we're talking about those. Raven pulls out this huge knife from her locker. It looked like something that Mr. Morgan probably maimed his animals with, I suppose. And I, obviously surprised and startled by meek Raven pulling out a knife, especially in a pregame. And I said, "What is going on, Raven?" She said, "Well, you're making me guard the best player." I said, "Well, yeah." And she said, "You told me to take away her right hand." That's my good joke there. I try to know my luck, and my life has been so blessed in every way. This place meant so much to me, but I do try to know my luck, and a lot of my luck came from the Morgan family. I am the benefactor of so many things, of having the greatest assistant coach in the world in Wes, of having a great friend and a teammate, and at one time coaching Scott, who's going to be by the way, the National Player of the Year again, to join Randy finally, which I think deserves a round of applause as well, into the National Hall of Fame this next year. Robin and Rhonda were great friends of my wife and colleagues, and lots of time together. And of course, Raven was my first experience coaching one of the Morgan women, which was tremendous. And then Randy, whose coattails I rode to a little bit of infamy. So I appreciate that family. But Raven is family, and Raven is absolutely work ethic. She controlled what she could. You noticed she was in the national categories in free throw percentage because that's one of the things she could control. Raven's the runt of the Morgan litter. If they all stood up, you'd notice that. She was a little undersized, a little under-athletic, but she was over-hearted, always, and over-couraged. And it was always a pleasure to coach her, even when her glasses fogged up and maybe she couldn't see exactly what she was doing on the floor. But she is a winner. And we didn't win a lot during Raven's time, but she was a winner. And when we did win, it was mostly Raven. and when we lost, she was still a winner. So it's my pleasure tonight to have known Raven, who taught me how to use my heart, how to use my head, and absolutely how to be a winner. So congratulations to Raven Morgan, Hall of Fame inductee 2021.
Thanks, Coach Lean. Thank you to all my family and friends and everybody who could be here tonight to support me. And I'd like to also congratulate the other Hall of Fame inductees as well. First of all, so one of my kids, Berkeley, she is a second grader. And it was kind of funny because Friday when I picked her up from school, she says, "So Mom, I told my teacher that you had to write a speech this weekend." She goes, "Oh really? What was it for?" And she goes, "I told her it was for the NBA." I'm like, well, not quite. And even today, she still thought that. So I think I'm a pretty big deal in the second grade. Anyway, I'm very honored to be here and join my rest of my family members in the Hall of Fame. I always wanted to go to DWU. I grew up watching, I think I was in the 5th grade when Wes started playing for the Tigers. And so it is pretty special to me to have been able to follow that family tradition and follow my four of my older siblings and continue at Wesleyan. And I've always been quite a homebody, so being able to play here where I knew I would have family in the crowd, and I always did at home games, and Wes was one of my assistants for 4 years, so even when my family couldn't be there at road games, he was always there, and that was always a comfort. As I said, I'm a huge homebody, so we don't travel a whole lot, and as some of you may know, my family, Jay and his family have a beer company, and so it's a big joke that we don't leave Beetle County unless it's in a beer truck. So I was very fortunate to play with my older sister Robin also. She was a senior and I was a freshman, and a lot of times in practice we played on opposing teams, and usually we had to guard each other, and I'm thinking it was quite entertaining because I think the coaches did that on purpose. We got after each other pretty good, and I'm pretty sure I still have the scars to prove some of that. A huge benefit for me playing at Wesleyan, as I said, was having my parents there. They aren't here with us tonight, but in spirit, I know. They were up front and center for everything. I mean, literally front row of the Quorum Palace, center court, and I know I could hear them. I could hear my dad most of the time, and always encouraging me to be more physical, and from a time or two I'd hear, "Raven, use your elbows," and things like that, and I'm pretty sure that the officials heard him once or twice too. But I will say, as vocal as he was at games, we came home, they like to hash the games over and everything like anybody else. He was never one to watch film or, grill us over what we didn't or didn't do. But I do remember, if you didn't play well, usually you knew it. And the only thing he would ever say is, "Well, might have been nice if you got off the bus tonight." My mom was also there and very supportive too. She was a little quieter, and she cheered and she kept stats in her program, usually with a grandchild in her lap. And but she was always there after the game to give us a pat on the back, lift us up if we needed to. During the week, it was always nice if you had a rough day, rough practice, rough week, whatever, you knew she would, "Hey, what do you want for supper? Come home." And it was 20 minutes, so you went home and you ate, and by the time it was time to go back, you felt a lot better. So, I really appreciate that way that my parents were able to support us and be there for us all the time. It was a comfort to me to know they were in the crowd all the time, and I try to kind of model that with my own kids. They're in basketball and volleyball and football and all that stuff too, and so, we like to encourage and, push them to be the best they can be, because that's one thing my parents did too. They go, "Well, we live 15 miles in the country," and so they would say, "We can't get in all the time to go to the gym, so we had a dirt court," and they're like, "If you can dribble on rocks, you can dribble anywhere." And I guess they were right. So, but yeah, my kids, we try to be, model that voice for them too. And I'm going to say it is quite often when they go to a game, we go, "Hey, better remember to get off the bus tonight, okay?" And they kind of smile and laugh, and that's how it goes. But, Coach Lean, I have to laugh because he came in my junior year, and right away he told us, he said, 90 minutes of practice, because we were used to like 2 hours. 90 minutes, I really think we can get it done in 90 minutes. So we're all thinking that sounds pretty good, right? Well, their first few weeks, it was closer to 3 hours. And we're going, seriously, Coach, what happened to 90 minutes? He goes, I know, I just can't get it all done in 90 minutes. I could go along, like, nope, a shade under 3 is just enough. And yeah, he was very intense and very enthusiastic, and, you never quite knew what was coming. And he spoke about defense. And so he had this defensive shadow drill. And so you would go out there, and the two of you would be a partner, and one would just, no ball. You would just run back and forth, and your defense is trying to keep up with you. And so while Wes and Coach were kind of watching, the rest of us would take our break so we didn't have to be intense the whole 3 hours and go, okay, looking, not looking, so you could just like relax a little bit, right? So, but we learned a lot, and he was always talking to us about life lessons and learning things. And yeah, we were not on the winning, we didn't, I think we won maybe 4 or 5 games is all, one of our years. And so, but he was always, every game we went out, we were pushed, and we went out, going for the win, and what can we do? And I'm going to say, no, we never lost a game because we weren't in shape, that is for sure. But he was always, even when we get to the end of the season, he'd go, okay, well, this isn't where we want to be, but maybe we can be the spoiler for some team, and take them out. So he always brought his enthusiasm, and yes, I had him in class too. I looked forward to going to that class, except I kind of wish it wouldn't have been at 8 o'clock in the morning, but still enjoyed it. And yes, South Dakota Tech came, and that was one of our big wins when they were nationally ranked, and I think we were down by maybe 18 or 20 and going into the locker room at halftime, and then we came out and, I don't know, started hitting some shots and making some stops and going to the free throw line. All of a sudden, at the end of the game, and it was kind of cool because, when we were there, when you're not winning a ton of games, it doesn't fill the Corn Palace right away, but, just parents and stuff the first half and a few fans, and then all of a sudden, halftime, and then people start filling in for the men's game. And so it was a pretty rockin' Palace by the end of the night, and it was pretty exciting. I made many great memories at DWU and have lots of lasting friendships, and it's really fun, we follow my kids in the Y-ball circuit and things like that, or if it's high school sports, middle school sports, and bump into a lot of people that I went to school with, and that's always so fun. I wouldn't trade a thing. DWU was a great fit for me, and who knows, maybe someday I'll be sitting front and center at the Corn Palace watching one of my kids play for the Tigers, but I'm not sure I can hold up my dad's helpful advice to the referees. I'm not sure I can do that, but I can sure give it a whirl. Once again, I'm very honored to be here. Thank you.
Congratulations, Raven. Our next inductee is Justin Bubba Slava. A 2012 graduate, Bubba completed a historic career with the DWU football team after being a multi-year starter and a mainstay at wide receiver. He was named to the All-GPAC first team in 2008 and to the All-GPAC second team in 2009, and he currently stands in second for single-season receiving yards with 1,046 in 2008. He also sits second in program history in career receiving yards after recording 2,881 yards on 206 catches. His 206 receptions for a career puts him in third in DWU football history. Slava also recorded the second and third most receptions in a season with 76 catches in 2008 and 72 receptions in 2009. He was a member of the 2008 Tiger team that finished with 7 wins and was ranked 23rd in the final NAIA poll and were dubbed as South Dakota's Collegiate Football Team of the Year by the Argus Leader. Slava lives in Sioux Falls with his wife Jess, and they have 2 children in Hayden and Skylar. Please direct your attention to the screens. Please help me welcome to the stage one of the best wide receivers in school history, Mr. Bubba Slaba. All right, now I've also been honored with the task of being Bubba's presenter tonight. For those of you who don't know, I had the pleasure of being teammates with Bubba during his time at DWU. Unluckily for me, as a defensive back, I had to match up with Bubba on a daily basis in practice, and let me tell you, I was extremely happy that he was on my team Saturday afternoons. I still don't know if I won any of those matchups or one-on-ones, but if I did, it was probably because our quarterback threw a bad ball. Most days in practice would start with a lot of us DBs talking some trash to the wideouts and portraying a lot of confidence prior to skelly drills or one-on-ones. And Bubba would just quietly sit back and grin for his chance to kind of burn all of us, and he usually did. Now, I've got a lot of great stories and memories of Bubba on and off the playing field. Probably most of those wouldn't be appropriate for this audience tonight, but some of my favorite memories happen in practice. Now, Bubba will be the first to tell you that he wasn't the biggest fan of practice, so he just found other ways to kind of keep himself entertained, mainly because he was just better than everybody else. But some of those stories were, one time he took away the ladder from our student managers and our camera guys so they couldn't get down from the film tower. That was kind of a regular occurrence of what he could do to those guys' worlds every day, just mess up their worlds, and they wouldn't be able to get down. And the other time that really sticks out was when Coach Pohl, he was yelling for a certain package, and we were missing a wide receiver. Nobody knew where Bubba was at. And we turned around, and Bubba's got himself strapped to the stretcher on the athletic training cart, just strapped up, completely boarded up. But that was just kind of a daily occurrence with Bubba. He was always fooling around in practice just because he just was so talented, and practices just weren't his thing. But on a more serious note, my favorite game day memory of him was when we played at Northwestern in 2008, and they were a top 15 team, and we were a good team. And this was by far the coldest game that I have ever played in. You remember this, Bubba? It was sub-zero temperatures for sure, and the field was literally just frozen over in Orange City, Iowa. The first play of the game, we throw a 70-yard bomb to Bubba for a touchdown, and we went on to win the game. And that was one of my favorite memories and wins as a player, and Bubba was a huge reason why we had 7 wins that season in a loaded conference. Bubba was one of the most talented athletes and wide receivers that I had ever been around. His route running and athleticism made him so difficult to cover, and he caught everything. And another fun fact related to his athleticism, and many may not know this, but he was a great baseball player, and he's probably one of the only guys that I know that threw a no-hitter in high school and still lost the game. He was one of the best teammates, a fan favorite, and a guy who knew how to make the game fun on the toughest days. Bubba, I'm proud to present you with the highest individual honor and accomplishment for DW Athletics. Welcome to the DW Athletics Hall of Fame.
Wow, John. Well said. Appreciate it. It seems like 10 years ago I was sitting here doing Senior Awards Night. Here I am. First off, I'd like to congratulate Ross Simple and his staff on a great win today. No better win than a W on homecoming week. I'd like to thank the DW Hall of Fame Committee. You're the reason why I'm up here today. And also congratulations to you fine inductees. Way to represent this university. DW is a tremendous university that's taught me a lot in my career, on and off the field. The staff, the professors, the coaches, the teammates have made a great impact in my life, so thank you for that. DW is such a close-knit family, and that's why it was so enjoying to be here. I still remember Fridays and Mondays in the fall First one to come to mind is Professor Randall Sprung. Be in the library or in the commons and say, hey, number 2, have fun this weekend and do a good job. The professors really cared about their athletes, which was so nice. Monday rolls around, chemistry professor Jim Lefferts said, my wife and I were at the game, and oh, you guys look pretty good. We might have to come more often. The university made you feel like family, and man, was that a lot of fun. One more thing about Randall Sprung. So on Monday, come to class. I think I was 3-4 minutes late, and open the door, and he looks at the clock. You're late. I didn't say nothing because I knew I was in the wrong. I was walking up the steps. He goes, everyone, that gentleman right there walking up steps is the GPAC Player of the Week. Please give him a round of applause. And that made me feel so special. Again, what a great DWU family we have here. Let's start out with how I got here. Coach Pohl, Brad Pohl, recruited me very hard as a senior. And at the time, I thought my football days were over. I'm not sure why, but as a young kid, you just think you have other endeavors. So even while I went to the time at USD, Coach Pohl continued to call me and just ask me how life is going. Just small talk, and I said, great. It wasn't until one day I got a call, I believe it was the Hanson Classic here. He goes, did you hear the news? I said, I did not. We just signed your senior high school quarterback, Jonathan Doom. How about you give me a chance and DWU a chance? I won't disappoint you. I'm sold. And one of the best decisions I ever made. So that summer I transferred to this great university, and what an experience. Right away I was a little hesitant. Because man, there were some great athletes here. People won state titles, Elite 45. They're just great athletes. I still remember meeting Jimmy Williams in the locker room the first time. He comes up to me and says, how many state championships have you won in high school? I said, I don't know, awkward question. None, Jim. Doesn't say a word, just walks away. I was truly blessed to have some of the best coaches, teammates, and athletes could ever ask for. I was very fortunate enough to play with my high school quarterback, Jonathan Doom, which was a phenomenal quarterback, great competitor, and a great leader on and off the field. Aside from the great blue and white, supporting faculty and influential coaches, and great teammates, DWU gave me the chance to meet my best friend, my wife, Jess. And no, she did not go to DWU. She went to our rival, USF Cougars. A great teammate of mine named Jordan Gow introduced me to Jess over homecoming week at the Village Bowling Alley over a phone call. History was in the making. A few weeks go by, and I get a text from Jess saying that her and her cousin are coming to the Briarcliff game. Very rarely did I ever feel nervous, especially when it came to females. For some reason, I got a pit in my stomach when I found out she was coming. So as we're doing pregame in Sioux City, Briarcliff, I saw Jess for the first time, and I remember thinking, I hope I don't screw this up. I hope I have a good game. Of course, pregame speech, Coach Pohl says, second play of the game, poster out, touchdown, get it done. Okay? I'm thinking, please don't drop that ball. Of course, what happened? Second play of the game, drop the ball right in the end zone. I still remember walking back to the sidelines, and Coach Pohl says, hey, where's this girl at? She needs to leave. Thankfully, it all worked out, and we beat Briarcliff, and I ended up getting Player of the Week honors. Support system. Man, did I have a great fan base and support at my time at DWU. I played in 38 out of the 40 games. My parents made all 40 of them. Thank you. My 4 brothers made it to majority of my games. My nephews, high school friends, high school coaches. Coach Russ Morrell made it. What great people. What great people I had to support me throughout my career here. I can still remember my nephew Connor, he's sitting right down here. When he was 2 years old, he came to my game wearing a number 2 DW Slava jersey. Man, that was special. Also, DW, if you're looking for some recruiting in 24-25, he's a freshman at Yankton High School, and he's got better hands than his uncle. One side note I have to mention, it does help out immensely to have 4 older brothers to push you and to become a better athlete. When you're the youngest of 5 boys, you learn how to run faster than them, real quick. As a kid, my brothers would wrap my body up in my mother's shower towels, shoulders, knees, thighs, and for some reason they threw rags in an old Dallas Cowboy plastic helmet. Gave me the ball and said, run. So you can only imagine how many hits I had to take. Thanks again to my supporting staff, Mom, Dad, Travis, Molly, nieces Veda and Presley, Jared and Connor, Tom and Leanne, and of course my amazing wife Jess, and 2 children, Hayden and Skylar, and a baby girl expected in December. DW, blue and white, thanks again for this great honor.
Congratulations, Bubba. Our next inductee is Robert Stockton. Robert Stockton, a 2005 graduate, joined the Tigers as a transfer from Trinidad State Junior College. He made an immediate impact for DWU pitching staff, and he was named a 2-time All-GPAC first-team selection as a pitcher in 2004 and 2005. In his first season, he was named to the NAI All-Region team. Stockton holds the record for the most wins in a season with 10, which he accomplished each of his seasons when he was with the Tigers, and he also holds the school record for the most innings pitched in a season with 104. The Albuquerque, New Mexico native was a 2-time NAI All-American Honorable Mention selection while leading the Tigers to consecutive GPAC championships in 2004 and 2005. Stockton ended his career with a 3.01 ERA. Following his career with DWU, Stockton played professionally for the Sioux Falls Canaries and the Sioux City Explorers. Stockton and his wife Sarah currently reside in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and he has 5 daughters in Jordan, Ava, Bella, Harley, and Kaya. Please direct your attention to the screens. Please help me welcome to the stage Robert Stockton and his presenter, Adam Nysius.
I'm the only one that's got to drop the microphone. I taught John Hart in the Intro to Sport Management class. That's how old I am. I don't know if that's good or bad, John, to be honest. I think you've done all right, so we're good. I'll be honest, I got to congratulate the administration at Dakota Wesleyan. This campus looks 100% different than when I was here 10 or 12 years ago, 14 years ago, however long it's been. The years run together when you get old. But it's revitalized. I think all you that haven't been here in a while, I walked around and went, oh my God. Pretty amazing. A lot of hard work, I'm sure, went into that. Congratulations to the other inductees. This is a once-in-a-lifetime achievement. I don't think many know the time, effort, sacrifice, dedication it takes to be in this group. Us as coaches know, but it's pretty amazing. So congratulations. Incredible to see all the faces here from Robert's family and friends and teammates from Curacao. Wow. Good to see you, Vinny. They're here to celebrate you and honor you and your accomplishment. And you've all aged way better than I have, and I'm glad to see that. Maybe except Moody, I'm not sure. I got to thank my wife, my incredible wife, Sarah, for being here with me. Love you. Robert, man, we can talk numbers and stats all day long. 20 wins, unbelievable amount of innings. We probably didn't have a bullpen at the time. That's probably why I kept running him out there. Bushbach couldn't pitch, so go back out. All the strikeouts, never walked anybody, never gave up any runs. Two-time All-American, team leader, role model, professional baseball player. And what an impact you made on so many people. Robert, you're still the most detailed baseball player I've ever coached. It was no surprise how successful you were. The time and effort you put into your preparation, I still haven't seen another player do it. When you combine your unparalleled preparation, the incredible mental toughness you had, which I wish I could coach that to every kid I have, and the relentless competitiveness you had, success was inevitable for him. It was going to happen. So we had a gathering last night. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it. I'm sure there was plenty of stories we could have told that I know were inappropriate for this group. But I'm going to tell you one, and I don't know if you remember this. So Robert's from Albuquerque, New Mexico. This is Mitchell, South Dakota. Okay, I was here for 10 long, hard, cold winters. So every time we recruited the southern kid, I always wanted him to come up to visit campus in June. Okay, always. Loved June here. So he came up, drove the same pickup, I believe, that Randy Sprung still owns, if I'm not mistaken. June, beautiful day, I remember it. Went out to Cadwell Park, and I wanted to see Robert throw a bullpen. Cody Palmer, I believe, caught you. So he went out and threw his bullpen, and I told Robert, if you want to go down and wait in the dugout, and I went up and talked to Cody. And Cody said, Coach, you got to sign this kid. He said, he's really good. I said, awesome, that's all I need to know. I appreciate the time. Get out of here, we'll go see if we can sign him. Here's the one question I always dreaded from the southern baseball player. And it was, Coach, how cold does it get here? So I had this in my brain already. We were driving back to campus. I already had the answer in my brain. And the answer was this: the falls here are phenomenal. Today, beautiful, beautiful day for a football game. 5 to 6 months of winter, and summers are hot as hell. I already had it in my brain. I was ready to go. The only problem was I never mentioned a spring. When I was here in the 10 years I lived here, didn't have much of a spring, winter to summer. So Robert sat down in my office and he said, how cold does it get here? And I said, that's what I'm talking about. I'm ready for this. I said, here's how cold it gets, Robert. It gets cold, man. He goes, good, because I like pitching when it's cold out. And I said, you're my man. We need to sign you today. What can we do to make that happen? It's an honor and a privilege to introduce DWU Athletic Hall of Famer, Robert Stockton.
Wow. It's an honor to stand up here in front of all of you. Coach Adam Nicias, I would not be here today if it wasn't for you. Thank you for loving me, for taking care of me. And when he says that I like to pitch in the cold, I love to pitch in the cold because nobody wants to hit. So that's why I'm standing here today. So you could ask those guys. They don't like to hit in that stuff, so it's pretty easy pitching in the cold. On January 27, 2020, I received a phone call from Athletic Director John Hart. He congratulated me as he told me I would be inducted into the Athletic Hall of Fame for Dakota Wesleyan University, the greatest university. I was extremely touched, humbled, and honored to receive such an honor. I began crying as I was full of emotion. First off, I don't know how nobody else cried up here, okay? So if I cry, it's because I raised 5 daughters, 2 stepdaughters, and a stepson who doesn't want to see me cry. Have you ever been recognized for something that you believed others deserved? Since receiving the phone call from John, I asked myself that question over and over. I believe so many others deserve this honor. Tonight, as I stand up here, I receive this honor on behalf of so many. This is not about one person and their accomplishments. This is about a team and their dedication, commitment, hard work, and love. I have the greatest team. You all know exactly who you are. I ask that you continue to impact the lives around you, lift others up, just as you have done for me. My team starts this with this one person, Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior. I thank you for always loving us when we don't deserve your love. Thank you for blessing me with all I have. Without you, I wouldn't have been blessed with all those you have placed in my path. Thank you for working through all of them and impacting my life. It's to you alone that makes all things possible. Thank you, my God. Dakota Wesleyan University. I spent 2 years as a student athlete here. More as an athlete. Thank you, professors, for allowing me to pass your classes. After graduating, I served as the assistant baseball coach and was an admissions counselor. Some of my best memories came after graduating, while I worked with President Amy Novak, Missy Hervalberg, Mary Stahl, Carol Weiss, Kristen Wendell, and Cain Quiros. Thanks for the great times. To our faculty, staff, and administration, thank you for welcoming me, taking care of me, and investing into my life. Dakota Wesleyan, there's no place like it. I am home when I am here. Thank you for everything and making me one of your own. Today, as I walked around campus, I would love to move here. I love this place. This is home. I never dreamt of playing college snowball in Mitchell, South Dakota. Seriously, who starts their season outside when the average temperature is 28 degrees? Coach Nicias and Coach Gant, I don't believe that story, by the way. You failed to mention this part when recruiting me. 28 degrees. I can still see Vince Offerman, who's from Curaçao, Antilles, Netherlands, who's sitting with us here today. He's shivering as his teeth just chatter back and forth. I thought they're gonna break. Mitchell is no Curaçao, is it, buddy? My teammates, God blessed me with the best. The first day of practice, I remember heading for the bullpen to get some work in. Big Chris Hampton asked me to go first so he could give me some pointers. Okay, I began pitching. And after a few pitches, Chris stated, "Keep doing what you're doing, buddy. Would you mind giving me some pointers next?" I wasn't very big, okay? Chris was big. Size doesn't matter. To all of the pitchers on the team, thanks for pushing me to be better every single day. I will never forget the camaraderie and brotherhood that was on full display. Trevor Arnold, thanks for bringing life to the party, brother. You always made things entertaining. I'll forever be grateful for our relationship. Thanks, buddy. To our pitching staff, question for you. Who carried the team? You're absolutely right. We definitely carried the team. To our true athletes and position players, Vince Offerman and Chris Merrick, thanks for taking a beating behind the plate. Seriously, you carried the staff. Vinny, you and I had a special relationship. Every single day we drove to and from practice together in that old beat-up truck that still operates. Thanks for so many good times and lifting me up. Chris Merrick, 2005, All-American. I was fortunate to play 2 years at Dakota Wesleyan University. Without you behind the plate, I wouldn't have 20 wins attached to my name, all the other accolades. You were the best teammate I could have ever asked for. A pitcher needs his catcher. And they always have to be on the same page. You called the best games, you framed a lot of pitches, you stood for no crime as you gunned down a lot of those attempting to steal bases. And wow, did we have some good times. Thanks for making me look good. Love you, brother. To our outfield, led by Lonnie Moody. Lonnie, thanks for running to the moon and back to catch those shots hit to the outfield. For those who didn't have the honor of watching Lonnie play, he was something special. You always made it look so easy. You saved us so many times. I walked out to Cadwell Park today. I hadn't seen it since 2008. I stood on the mound and I said, "Dear God, that outfield is huge." Somebody would hit the ball to the outfield and Lonnie would chase it down. We were in Point Loma, which is in San Diego, California. The game that I started, thank God for my team, we won 2-1. But that one run they scored off of me, I tell you what, Lonnie pretty much ran to the ocean trying to catch that fly ball that landed in the ocean. So, thanks for trying. Thomas Golage, thank you for everything. You had an amazing arm, buddy. Lonnie didn't have that. Okay? I prayed it was hit in your direction so Lonnie can hand you the ball. So I always loved to watch guys attempt to tag up on you because when he threw him out, there's this swagger about this guy walking around like he owned the whole field. To our infielders, Bushy, I prayed they would hit the ball your way every time. It was an automatic out. You were the best defensive player I have ever played with, man. Whoever the third baseman is for Dakota Wesleyan right now, we met him today. Sorry I forgot your name. His teammate said he was the best to ever play. He didn't know Bushy, so he needs some pointers. Trevor Oswald, I'm bummed you're not here today, buddy. Ozzy, you could do it all, man. It didn't matter where coach played you. You could do it all. Sean Sandoval, who was Ozzy's best friend, God blessed all of us with your short stay on earth. Thanks for the good times, brother. Nick Yanu, Goonie, that guy who could do it all at first base. If you infielders thought you were good, it was because of that guy right there. Justin Chasen, it was because of him as well. Goonie, the brains of the team. Goonie was the quiet one who let his game speak for him. Seriously, I hung out with him last night. I think he said 3 words. Janae, you do all the speaking, okay? Thanks for all you did for our team, all you've done for this event, and for bringing my teammates here, because it's a pretty special moment to have them. This honor's for them. To our offense led by Thomas Gullidge. Thomas Gullidge, 2005 GPAC Player of the Year and All-American. You set the tone year-round in the weight room, and you carried the team on your back, literally. This isn't in my speech, okay? But it's now. All right, so Gullidge, my first year here, he's got this way about him. I don't know. He's kind of different. He likes to streak, okay? I won't say anything else. He likes to have fun and make things entertaining. He would run around trying to kiss the other guys, do weird things, okay? Gina, I don't understand him. Okay, one day at practice, I'm like, hey, you know what? How you get this guy to stop is you do it back. I bit him on the neck, pretty much kissed him, and kissed him, okay? All I could hear is this guy, he wouldn't stop talking the whole team. Something's wrong with Robert Stockton. I don't think this guy's normal. I don't think he's right. Okay, why the one time I do something in return? I don't get it. If you want to kiss later, we can kiss. You're going to have to ask my wife first. You brought the fun to practice, and your spirit set the nature that led us to multiple championships. Nicias wasn't always the easiest to play for, so we had to make things fun. Because the guys die hard. I'll get to you soon, buddy. My coaches, Coach Adam Nicias, Coach Taylor Gant, Coach Jacoby Marshall. Thank you for all the time, energy, and love you put into me and our team. Thank you for everything. Coach Nicias, you should be the one standing up here. Winningest baseball coach in DWU history. 2005 GPAC and Regional Coach of the Year. Those awards and honors we all know whoever's been a part of a coaching staff, whoever's been part of certain committees, they don't always go to the people who deserve it. One time, you deserved it many more times. To the coach who created all of this, Adam Nicias, without you, none of us would be here. We wouldn't have shared the experiences that I've mentioned. You brought a group of boys together. Yes, boys. We were not men. We were boys. Maybe I was a man. You taught us about life and how to be men. You created a band of brothers that will be forever grateful to you. Coach, you should hold your head high, knowing the impact you have had on all of your players. You wanted the absolute best for all of us. You created a winning atmosphere. Your work ethic was like none other. Starting with your mental preparation, field prep, to practice and game planning, you were always going. Sarah, I'm sure he's the same way today. I don't know how you do it. You lived and died creating the best for your players. You inspired me to be great. I wanted to be just like that man. And when I say that, I wanted to be just like him. Junior year, you remember the story? You remember Dana? I don't know if he was ejected from any other game. Have you ever been ejected from another game? Maybe, yeah, a lot. It looks like it. Maybe I kept him in check. I don't know. But he got ejected from the game. I had to follow his footsteps. Are you kidding me? The great just got ejected. So I ran my mouth and I got ejected. My mom and dad came from Albuquerque, New Mexico. They had never seen me pitch for Dakota Wesleyan. They came to watch me pitch the next game. Well, there's a rule. You don't pitch the next game. You don't play the next game if you get ejected. So that's on you. I don't know. My parents decided not to show up today because you were here. I never had a coach believe in me the way that you did. All right. During the 2004 and 2005 GPAC tournament, you even allowed me to start 2 games in the span of 3 days. Thanks for those special times and the memories. Thanks for leading us and bringing us all together. I stand up here today because of you. Thanks for being the greatest coach and best coach that I ever played for. You were my mentor, friend, and many times even a father figure. Thanks for sharing this day with me. You deserve it all. Seriously, please give this man a round of applause. To my family, Mom, you taught me how to love, to believe in others, and to believe in myself. You ensured that I got to every game, and you pushed me to be the best in baseball. I can't say that for school, guys. She let me miss whenever I wanted to. I'd have to say baseball. You were the fan that believed I could do no wrong. In your eyes, I never made a bad pitch. I'm not sure how that ball ended up in the ocean, but Mom says it wasn't a bad pitch. Mom and I would talk daily. We had a relationship that was very special. Thanks for loving me and always believing in me. Story about Mom. When I was a young boy, Mom would always make my brother and me write, "You are the best," inside of our hats and on the bathroom mirror. Literally, she'd hand us the marker, we'd go write it on the mirror. I carried this with me throughout college. It reminded me to work harder and harder every single day. You are the best. That wasn't about you are the best. The only way to be the best is to have your team come first and to put the hard work in, because then you will be the best because you're surrounded with amazing people. Thanks, Mom, for those encouraging words. I don't think I'd be here today if it wasn't for that. Thanks, Mom. I love you. Dad. He was my first coach, the one who pushed us to play baseball. You showed your love completely different than Mom. You worked your tail end off to provide so we could play the game of baseball. You dedicated your time and energy into coaching us and showing us how the game is played. I can still remember you throwing a curveball and saying, "See how much it moved? It didn't move at all." Okay? It didn't move. I don't know. It only got to me. As I got older, you always were honest and pushed me to do my best. You were one of the hardest workers I've ever met. Thanks for showing me the way. Love you, my dad. My sisters, Charlotte and Sherry. My sisters, you educated me about manners. My wife can attest to that. You taught me the most important thing ever. You taught me about the Lord and how to love Him. Thanks for showing me right from wrong and how to live life to its fullest. It's because of you two, you raised us the right way. I'm here today because of that. I love you. Chase Hickerson, best friend. you know I look at you as a brother. Back in the day, during the summers, we worked out together. He put me on some stuff that I probably shouldn't be taking, okay? He gave me a bad anger issues back then. But we hit the gym hard. You pushed me to my breaking point every single workout. You would laugh at me as I was throwing up from pure exhaustion. I couldn't even stand up. That's not cool, man. You've supported me every step of my journey. Nothing can separate us, brother. Love you. Sarah, my beautiful wife, I'm the luckiest person in the world to have you by my side. God gifted me with the absolute best and the most amazing gift. That's you. You've seen me in my lowest of lows, and you saved my life. This woman literally saved my life. God placed you in my life for a reason. I'm telling you, I wouldn't be standing here today. I almost took my life. And God had a plan. Thank you so much, my love. I can't even see now. Great. I would not be standing here today if it wasn't for you. You've been an absolute rock, my love. I wipe my eyes like I got mascara or something. They always told me I was like a girl. Sarah, you are the most patient, loving, and beautiful mommy ever. I love you with everything, my beautiful Sarah. Thanks for loving me like nobody else has ever loved me. My girls, and all of my kiddos. Jordan, Ava, Bella, Harley, Kaya, Kaden, Ella, and Callie. And my 3 other kiddos, Shane, Luke, and Audrey. Daddy and Uncle loves you with everything in him. You bring me so much happiness. And I love every day we share together. Thanks for teaching me more than I teach you. Remember this, you are loved, and God has big plans for you. Follow him, and you will always be blessed, and blessed beyond. To the Nelson family, Becky, you know the role you played in my life during those years. I will never forget it, and I thank you for all the memories and the support you provided. All of the Nelson family, your love and support during those years will never be forgotten nor replaced. Thanks for making so much of this possible. Eric Nelson, I love you, brother. This isn't common, this isn't typical, but I saved somebody for last for a reason. I'm gonna try to stay composed, okay? Eric Stockton, stand up. That's actually Robert Stockton, guys. Good. He's my identical twin brother. Come up here. Come stand up here with me. Don't knock this over. I saved the best for last. This man is my absolute best friend. He's the most influential person in my life. He is my role model. Eric, you lead by example. You allow God to shine through you daily. You're an amazing husband and father. You're the guy that can do it all. Eric is married to Amber, who is the absolute best sister I could have. Amber, thanks for being the most supportive and loving sister. You always support our relationship. You always support me. You have always been there for me, my girls, and our family. God blessed our family with the best. I love you, Amber. Eric, you're the best brother. There's no relationship like ours When people say, oh, I have a close relationship, I'm almost in disgust. When people say, oh, you have a close relationship. This guy, when we separate, when we go different ways, it's like I'm missing my heart. You've been the biggest fan our entire lives, my biggest fan our entire lives. We started playing baseball well before 1989. I swear we were playing in the womb. Well, maybe you were beating me up. We have been inseparable from day one. You were always the better athlete, better baseball player, smarter, and way better looking. I thought we were supposed to be identical twins, but you got some gifts I didn't get. So much for that. I remember leaving for college and separating from you for the first time. I could not stop crying. I felt like my heart was being ripped out. I had never been away from you before. The time away from you was extremely challenging. We coped with that by talking every single day. I talked to him before every game and after every game. I couldn't wait to talk to you. The first person I wanted to pick up that phone right away and call you. Having you stand up here next to me is a dream come true. When I received the call from John Hart, January 27, 2020, you were the first person I wanted to share the news with. My brother, I love you with all of my heart. I could not imagine life without you. Thanks for always loving me, pushing me, and supporting me, and being my best friend. There's nobody like you, my brother. You made this one possible. It's yours just as much as it's mine. I love you, man. I'm going to have him stand up here until I'm done, because with him by my side, I feel like I'm complete. He doesn't want to stand here, but hey, he can deal with it. I didn't dress up. Eric and I, on our first recruiting trip, junior year in high school, we went to Seward County Community College. God bless them over there. I recruited a player from them, David Anderson, and he was a great player, but I was told, I went out there, pitched my bullpen, did my thing, and I was told I would never play college baseball as I wasn't good enough. The coach was pretty rude. He said, you're literally never going to play college baseball. This coach motivated me, my family, and those around me. Look at what we've done. Thank you, Coach, for your inspirational words. This is a life lesson. One may say you're not good enough. They may beat you down and throw you away. Ultimately, it's nobody's voice that matters other than God's. He has a plan, even if we don't understand it. Thank you, God, for your blessings and for those around me. Congratulations to all the other inductees. Go Tigers.
Our final inductees of the night are Dan and Diane Dolores. Dan and Diane have been longtime supporters of Dakota Wesleyan University and Tiger Athletics. More recently, they have been key contributors to the DWU football program. They have graciously made major gifts towards many items related to player safety, equipment, scholarships, and overall program support. Just last year, Dan and Diane were recognized at the DWU Legacy Banquet for exceeding $100,000 in lifetime giving. Dan and Diane have graciously hosted numerous student athletes over the years to help them get acclimated to Mitchell when their own families couldn't be there. They are the first to step in and help when needed and are always the first to support coaches, student athletes, and countless others who are connected to DWU athletics. Dan and Diane continue to be staple supporters, not only for the DWU campus community, but the entire Mitchell community through their generosity and involvement with numerous clubs and organizations. Above all, Dan and Diane are great people, and their kindness and success has translated well for the entirety of their family, including their daughter, Linda, and their son, Marty. Please direct your attention to the screens. Please help me welcome to the stage Dan and Diane Dolores and their presenter, Ross Simple.
All right. Sorry, try to keep it together with my voice. I was busy today. I told John, though, if we lost, don't introduce me as the head football coach because I don't want anybody to know, but we won, so that's good. But I'm just going to be really quick and just mention a few things and then turn it over to Dan and Diane. First, I'd like to congratulate all the Hall of Fame inductees on your great careers and accomplishments. I was another one of those USF people that got to watch all of this stuff firsthand. And so extremely honored to introduce Dan and Diane and would like to extend a very special congratulations on your induction into the Dakota Wesleyan Athletic Hall of Fame. The contributions you have made to this university and specifically the football program are absolutely incredible. We cannot thank you enough for the impact that you've made. I met Dan and Diane about 14 years ago when I was roommates with their daughter, Linda. I was fortunate enough to get an assistant coaching job at DWU, and then I got to be roommates with Dan and Diane. Seriously, I did. I had nowhere to live, and so I asked them if I could live at their house. And they let me stay there for free and even cooked me some meals, and so it was a good deal. But all jokes aside, Dan and Diane are incredible people. I was able to see firsthand their generosity and willingness to help whenever needed. In 2012, they started making their impact by providing our team with practice equipment and other items geared towards player safety. They have continued to provide resources for our players to keep them safe and help make our coaches' jobs easier. It's always great to add a new coach from other schools to our staff and see their faces when we show them the equipment we have available. We always make the joke with new coaches that if you can't find a piece of equipment, you don't need it because we have pretty much everything now. We're beyond lucky to have that type of support for our players and coaches. In 2012, we started our host parent program, and they were the first to ask how they could help. They've been host parents since 2012 and have made tremendous impact on so many former and current players in our program. Here are some quotes from some of their current and former host boys and what Dan and Diane mean to them. When you hear about the DWU community and how supportive and caring they are, Dan and Diane are perfect examples of that. They always do everything in their power to make everyone feel at home through their genuine words and actions. Another quote is, Dan and Diane are the most caring and helpful people I know. Anytime I need something, they're the first to give a hand, even if it is to talk and get something off my chest. There is no one more deserving. They are generally caring, positive, encouraging people and always have an open door to help in any way possible. Thank you, Dan and Diane, for everything. You two deserve this. And finally, Dan and Diane have been such wonderful people for this football team, community, and have developed a real, true friendship. I'm forever thankful for their hospitality, kindness, and willingness to help others. These testimonies summarize and describe Dan and Diane perfectly. We talk to our recruits all the time about how DW football is a family, and Dan and Diane are a huge piece of that. Their impact goes beyond the knee braces and tackling dummies. They are impacting the young men in our program every year. Dan and Diane have been unbelievable supporters for our program, and our program would not be where it is today without the times and treasures they've shared with us. On behalf of everyone at DW football, I'd like to say thank you once again. There is no one more deserving of this recognition and honor, and it is my pleasure to introduce the newest members of the DW Hall of Fame, Dan and Diane Dolores.
All night we've been sitting at the table visiting, and not once did his voice sound like that. It was strong in there, and I thought he was getting a little emotional just coming to this. Tonight is really an honor for us to be here and to be recognized, because when you go through and you listen to the young men coming from long distances and being away from their families, it's nice to be able to be there and relate to them. And tonight, with all the inductees here, there's been one message: family. Whether it's the immediate family, the coaching family, the teammates' family, it's all family. And that's what Ross just mentioned, is the Dakota Wesleyan football team family. So, not much to say. I don't have any past stories, just a lot of good experiences, because we have the opportunity to engage with these people and these young men and where they've gone. So, with that, there's only one thing that I can kind of think of advice as we're leaving tonight, and that goes to the baseball team. We're family, but we still should not be doing any streaking. Thank you.
At this time, I would like to invite Jory Hansen, our Director of Development, to the stage to make a special announcement.
Thank you, Coach Nicey. So I'm going to have to raise this microphone here. You lowered it. Thank you, John. What a special night tonight is. First, I want to congratulate all of tonight's inductees. And I also want to acknowledge all of the Dakota Wesleyan alumni that are in attendance tonight. If you are a Dakota Wesleyan alumni, please stand up and let's recognize you. Dakota Wesleyan University and Tiger Athletics lost a legend in December of 2020 with the passing of Coach Gordy Fosnes. Gordy graduated from Dakota Wesleyan in 1957 after a tremendous playing career where he finished with over 1,800 points. In a long line of Dakota Wesleyan Tiger men's basketball history, he's still in the top 10 all time. In addition, he made a remarkable coaching career. He's the all-time winningest coach with 351 wins. He's been inducted into the Dakota Wesleyan Athletic Hall of Fame, the NAIA Hall of Fame, along with many others. He tallied 10 conference championships during his 22-year tenure at Dakota Wesleyan as a coach. But beyond his coaching success, his impact was often felt beyond the court. He was often described by his players as someone that cared deeply about them long after they graduated. He was a man of Christ, and he was fearless, especially when it came to helping those he loved through a difficult time. Gordy's legacy lives on through his family, friends, the players he coached and mentored, many of which are here today. Would you please stand and be recognized if you played for Coach Fosnes? In honor of the impact of Coach Fosnes, I'm excited to announce the establishment of the Fosnes Award. The Fosnes Award commemorates Gordy and Carol Fosnes and is given to the top scholar men's basketball and women's basketball student athletes in their senior year at DWU and is selected by the basketball coaching staffs. This award is based on athletic ability, academic ability, leadership, character, and involvement in campus life. We're so excited to honor the first recipients of that in the spring and are so excited to continue the legacy of Coach Fosnes. Thank you.
Thank you, Jory. Obviously, this past year, we were faced with a variety of challenges, but none more challenging than the loss of members of our DWU athletics family. At this time, I would like to direct your attention to the screens to pay tribute to some of our most loyal supporters, alumni, and family and friends of DWU athletics. At this time, I would like to invite President Teresa Creasy back to the stage for some closing remarks to end the evening.
I think I'm somewhere in between when it comes to the microphone. Thank you all so very much for coming tonight. Tonight we have celebrated 7 great individuals who have made an impact. These individuals have touched the lives of fellow athletes, fans, and supporters. Their display of sportsmanship and the honing of their talents is remarkable alone. But these individuals are more than their sport records, more than a name engraved on a plaque or a wall, more than a jersey. These individuals are influencers. These individuals bleed blue. We all wonder, what does it mean to bleed blue? It means that you're trusted. It means that you understand commitment to yourself and others. It means that you are accountable for your actions. It means that your values are grounded in faith and service. It means that the good of the team often stands above the good of the individual. It means that you give all you can, and then you give a little more. It means that good leadership is not always exercised from the front of the pack. And it means that defeat does not equal failure. This celebration is just not about those honored tonight. It is about a tradition of excellence and a tradition of the development of young individuals into future strong leaders, future influencers. Everyone here tonight is critical to that mission, and we are so grateful for your support. You bleed blue and share the very essence of Dakota Wesleyan with those you come in contact each and every day. Let us not forget those who come before us, paving the way. The past 2 years, we have experienced the loss of many DWU influencers that bled blue every day. Each had a unique and personal relationship with their families, friends, and communities, whether they were former players, coaches, contributors, or mega fans. Whenever these individuals crossed paths with DWU Tigers, they made an impact, and we are forever grateful for them. Friends, let us pray that in a year ahead that God will help us to have the courage to awaken to the greater truth, greater humility, and greater care for one another. We know that we are part of the kingdom of God and that we are the community of intentionality. We encourage one another. In other words, we connect by bleeding blue. Tonight, I offer gratitude for your demonstration of DW's values of learning, leadership, faith, and service, and your commitment to influencing change in your community and in our world. May each of you continue to embrace the values learned and practiced through athletics as guideposts for your personal journey. Thank you so very much for joining us tonight. Congratulations to the honorees, and please travel home safely. Thank you.
Hey, real quick, before everybody kind of goes their separate ways, for our inductees, could you guys come up here for a quick picture and just kind of line up behind your respective photo here for a quick photo op for all of you? Thank you.